Call the meeting to order. If you'd all join us by standing and saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Matt, if we could have roll call, please.
Counselor Hickerson.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
Batolo.
Here.
Robinson.
Here.
Allen. Demas.
Here.
Pedri.
Here.
Zadi.
Here.
Mayor Mickelson.
Here. That brings us to our consent agenda. We have our minutes from our April 18th council meeting and our April 18th special and 19th special council meetings. We have 3 appointments: David Gerald to Planning and Zoning Commission, Jacob Heath to the Sweetwater District Board of Health, Natalie Powell to the Sweetwater County District Board of Health. We have Council Committee and Board reports from the Joint Powers Combined Communication Board meeting from March 20th, Joint Powers Telecom Board meeting from March 23rd, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting from April 13th, and we have an item of correspondence from the Service Line Warranties of America Spring 2023 campaign materials. I would entertain a motion.
So moved, John.
Your Honor.
Yeah.
Revised agenda.
That's what I thought I had open.
No, you got to approve the revised agenda.
Oh, I was like, dude, I've got that open. Yeah. Very good. Thank you. I would look for a motion to approve the advised agenda.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Bertello. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Councilor Petrie, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries, which takes us back to the consent agenda. I think Councilor Bertolo moved to pass that. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Second and a third. With that, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And that brings us to our presentations and proclamations. Our first is for the National Economic Development Week, and I see Kayla McDonald is here. Would you like to share?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Kayla McDonald. I am the Economic Development Specialist for the Sweetwater Economic Development Coalition, also known as SEDC. I'd like to thank you all for your time tonight in proclaiming it National Economic Development Week coming up next week. And traditionally, SEDC has planned events over the week in the past, but this year we're doing something a little different. We're doing a social media campaign around what is economic development. So you'll see some statistics on our social media platforms, which are Facebook and Instagram, and our website as well. We'll be highlighting some of the projects that are coming into the community, like Project West, Project Bison, Caltech, as you guys are probably familiar with, the most recent one that we helped bring in last summer, and so we're excited about that. So we'll have some information on that, and just highlighting our advisory board and our liaisons on their thoughts on economic development. So I encourage you to follow our social media pages if you're not already, and follow along and see what we have exciting going on. The county commissioners already proclaimed an Economic Development Week for the county this morning, and then the city of Green River also is doing it this evening. So again, thank you guys for your support, and we should be back to update you guys in the late summer, early fall with some updates on our strategic plan that we are currently working on, and just navigating our strategies, making sure we have everything together before we come before the funding agencies. So that's all I have tonight. So thank you.
Thank you. Council, do you have any questions before I read the proclamation? No? Okay. With that, whereas the International Economic Development Council is the largest professional economic development organization dedicated to serving economic developers, and the International Economic Development Council provides leadership and excellence in economic development for communities, members, and partners through conferences, training courses, advisory services and research, in-depth publications, public policy advocacy, and initiatives such as the Accredited Economic Development Organization Program and the Certified Economic Developer designation. And economic developers promote economic well-being and quality of life for their communities, by creating, retaining, and expanding jobs that facilitate growth, enhance wealth, and provide a stable tax base. And economic developers stimulate and incubate entrepreneurism in order to help establish the next generation of new businesses, which is the hallmark of the American economy. And economic developers are engaged in a wide variety of settings, including rural and urban, local, state, provincial, and federal governments, public-private partnerships, chambers of commerce, universities, and a variety of other institutions. And economic developers attract and retain high-quality jobs, develop vibrant communities, and improve the quality of life in their regions. And economic developers work in the city of Rock Springs within the state of Wyoming. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Max Mickelson, Mayor of the city of Rock Springs, do hereby declare the week of May 8th through the 12th of 2023 to be National Economic Development Week in Rock Springs, Wyoming, and remind individuals of the importance of this community celebration, which supports expanding career opportunities and improving quality of life.
Thank you.
Our next proclamation is for the National Veterans Awareness Ride. Do we have anybody here? Oh, come on down.
I'm Kat Tipton. I am one of the state organizers for the National Veterans Awareness Ride. We go from Sacramento, California, all the way to DC. And in the process of that, we stop at all our veterans hospitals and homes and meet with our veterans and everything. And stop at schools. We lay wreaths across the U.S. with our veterans. May 19th, we will be here. We'll pull into town at 8:40 to gas up, and we will come down and we will have breakfast at the American Legion, the Gunyon Hall. And any of the veterans, any of you are all invited to come have breakfast with us. And it's a large motorcycle group. My husband and I will be doing the chase vehicle, which is also the merchandise trailer this year. So, and we've done it for 7 years now, all the way. So,
Well, thank you. That is
you
certainly
betcha.
a wonderful organization to be a part of. Council, any comments?
All right, just a logistical question. If you wanted to say start in Rock Springs, Wyoming on a motorcycle, but we're actually starting in Sacramento, do you have to do double riding? I mean, to get all the way to San Francisco or Sacramento and then all
Yeah.
the way to DC and then all the way back?
There's some of them that start at the East Coast that all go and meet up at Sacramento. And yeah, we leave here and go to Sacramento.
That is a
And
lot
then
of
we
saddle time.
Go all the way to DC and then come home.
Wow, incredible. What an effort. Thanks.
Yeah, we also have day riders that will join us
Oh, okay.
along the way and stuff. And
Wow, great. Thank you.
you betcha.
Okay. With that, whereas in 2005, the National Veterans Awareness Organization was founded as a not-for-profit organization dedicated to honoring all veterans, and shortly after, a National Veterans Awareness Ride was established with the mission of remembering, honoring, and supporting veterans and those currently serving in all branches of the military. And the people who participate in the National Veterans Awareness Ride come from all walks of life, are all ages, are veterans and non-veterans, are motorcycle riders and non-riders, are members of different religions and have different political leanings. And what brings them together is a strong belief in the goal of the NVAR. and each year riders accomplish the organization's mission on a national stage during a 13-day ride in May from Auburn, California to Washington, D.C. And 3 major efforts make up the ride, which are first, to visit veterans' homes and hospitals to help a hurting or lonely veteran. Second, to participate in memorial services to recognize and honor local citizens who made the ultimate sacrifice serving our country. And third, to visit schools and promote service to communities and our nation, as well as encourage children's respect for veterans. And participants in the ride find personal healing by helping others and honoring veterans in hospitals and homes, as well as remembering friends who are no longer with us. And the 2023 ride will begin on May 16th, 2023, and will pass through Rock Springs on Friday, May 19th, 2023. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Max Mickelson, Mayor of the City of Rock Springs, do hereby declare May 16th through the 27th of 2023 to be National Veterans Awareness Ride Week in the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming. And I urge the citizens of Rock Springs to recognize these riders as they pass through Rock Springs with appropriate celebrations and by offering support to those riding for our veterans. It would be wonderful. I remember when we had the truckers convoy, we had quite a few folks who went and stood on the overpass above I-80, and I think it would be a really, really good thing if we could have a good turnout to do that for these riders. And that brings us to our proclamation for Nurses Month, and I see we have quite a few nurses with us, so if anybody'd like to come up and speak, they're more than welcome to. Just let us know who you are.
No, all of them.
No, yeah.
It's okay. Hi, I'm Patty Golexi. And
I'm Noreen Hovey. We are members of the Wyoming Nursing Association,
Yes.
and we are here to represent all of the nurses of our community.
and we'd like to thank Mayor Mickelson and the councilmen for this recognition. And we like to say that we're honored to serve our community, families, and friends in Rock Springs. Thank you.
Thank you all for all that you do. I think anybody who's ever experienced any kind of serious medical issue has a pretty good understanding of how critical nurses are and of the quality of service that they provide. So thank you very much. Council, any comments or questions? No. Okay.
We love you too.
Whereas registered nurses in the United States constitute our nation's largest healthcare profession, and the depth and breadth of the registered nursing profession meets the different and emerging healthcare needs of the American population in a wide range of settings, including the front line of the pandemic. And the American Nurses Association, as the voice for registered nurses in this country, is working to chart a new course for a healthy nation that relies on increasing access to primary and preventative health care and better utilization of all our nation's registered nursing resources. And professional nursing is an indispensable component of the safety and quality of care of hospitalized and non-hospitalized patients. And the demand for registered nursing services will be greater than ever because of the aging of the American population, emerging health challenges, the continuing expansion of life-sustaining technologies, and the explosive growth of home health care services. And more qualified registered nurses are needed in the future to meet the increasingly complex needs of the healthcare consumers in this community. And the cost-effective, safe, and high-quality healthcare services provided by registered nurses will be an increasingly important component of the United States healthcare delivery system in the future. And along with the American Nurses Association, the City of Rock Springs has declared May as Nurses Month with the theme, You Make a Difference, with appreciation for nurses' unparalleled impact during the pandemic and their contributions to healthcare, and an open invitation to thank a nurse, that's a hashtag for all of you youngsters who are on social media, for enriching our lives in the world we live in. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Max Mickelson, Mayor of the City of Rock Springs, do hereby declare May 2023 to be Nurses Month, in the city of Rock Springs. And I call upon the Rock Springs community to celebrate registered nurses' accomplishments and efforts to improve our healthcare system and to show appreciation for the nation's registered nurses, not just during this month, but at every opportunity throughout the year.
Thank you.
This will be a big picture.
And that brings us to tennis. Who would like to come forward? I kind of suspected it would be you.
Thank you for having us here tonight. I am Darren Anderson. I am the head coach at Rock Springs High School, the tennis team, boys and girls tennis team. I am represented here tonight by my assistant coaches, Garrett Siemens and Haley Nandrup, and several of our team players and family members as well. Tennis is something that is growing largely in the community, especially with our tennis program at the high school. We have numbers the last few years that have rivaled that of the football team, more than the volleyball team. Generated a lot of interest amongst the youth in our community to learn how to play a sport that they can play throughout their lives. It's a lifetime sport. It's one of the most healthy things that they can do throughout their lives. So we are just excited to be here to represent the United States Tennis Association and National Tennis Month in May. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I have always had a fondness for tennis. It was the last sport I played in school. And it is a blast. Although if I had known the amount of sprinting that we would do in practice, I might not have signed up.
You don't look like a sprinter.
I'm not built for sprinting. No. Very good. Council, any comments or questions? No? Okay, with that, whereas on May 21st of 1881, the USTA, originally known as the United States National Lawn Tennis Association, was founded in New York City, New York, to create rules and standards for the emerging game of lawn tennis. And the USTA is the nonprofit national governing body for tennis in the United States and leads the promotion and growth of the sport at every level of play, from beginners to professionals at the U.S. Open. And the USTA proudly partners with local tennis programs to showcase the important health, social, and educational benefits of tennis and make the sport available to everyone, regardless of age, environment, condition, or ability. Through its USTA National Junior Tennis and Learning Programs and Adaptive Tennis Grants. And the latest research by the Physical Activity Council shows that more than 23.6 million Americans played tennis in 2022, an unprecedented 33% increase in participation over 2019. And the Sweetwater County Tennis Association was founded with a mission to promote, develop, and ensure the sport of tennis is available and accessible to all in the Rock Springs community. And tennis imparts characteristics such as hard work, perseverance, sportsmanship, determination, grit, positive thinking, problem solving, teamwork, and social skills to players in our community. And by increasing the accessibility of tennis for citizens of Rock Springs of all ages and ability, the USTA and the Sweetwater County Tennis Association have contributed to making our community happier and healthier. And USTA has declared the month of May as National Tennis Month to encourage players, organizations, providers, facilities, retailers, parks and rec, schools, etc., to promote and showcase tennis and spread the word about the sport and its benefits, and to help players and non-players alike find courts and play opportunities in their communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Max Mickelson, Mayor of the City of Rock Springs, do hereby declare the month of May 2023 to be Tennis Month in the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and I urge the citizens of Rock Springs to become aware of and involved in Tennis Month activities this May of 2023 and to pursue further tennis opportunities throughout the year.
Okay, I will.
I was there. No, I was right there.
Oh, you were,
By Larry on the end.
you were fast getting back to your
Yeah,
seat then.
I was
You,
able to.
you ran.
Okay, well, that brings us to petitions. Is there anybody who'd like to address us? Going once, going twice. Closed. Okay, so that takes us to bills and claims. The first are bills and claims from May 2nd of 2023. May I have a motion?
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the bills and claims for May 2nd, 2023.
Thank you, Councilor Demus. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Zadi. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining?
Abstaining.
Thank you, Councilor Pedri. Motion carries with Councilor Pedri abstaining. And that takes us to salaries for April 21st of 2023. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the salaries.
Thank you, Councilor Demus. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining?
Abstaining.
Okay, motion carries with Councilor Pedri abstaining. And that takes us to our first item of new business, which is approval of the preliminary budget for the City of Rock Springs for the period ending June 30th of 2024. Is there a motion?
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
First, I'd like to thank Matt and Alex for their hard work, as well as the department heads and their work in preparing this budget and laying out really your needs, both future and immediate needs. We have some challenges still with the budget. We have issues we'd like to get to immediately, but we just can't. There's not enough funding there. But we're doing what we can, and we're trying to bring back some positions that were unfunded the last couple of years and work on maintenance and replacement of equipment. We've got a long way to go, but I do appreciate all the help and understanding all the departments gave in getting where we are right now with the preliminary budget. So I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Councilor Zadi. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Botello. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none from the council, I do have a statement that I'd like to share since this is my first go around with the budget process. I've really enjoyed taking a deep dive into the budget process for our city. Budgeting of public money is a key measure for accountability and an important resource for implementing democracy. Ensuring our citizens are aware of how we are using their resources is vitally important to our council and myself and our staff. Our preliminary budget represents hours of work and analysis done by our department heads to answer a fundamental question: what resources does each department need to provide high-quality services to the citizens of our city? In past fiscal years, we have faced a scarcity of resources, and our mayors and councils have rightfully worked hard to preserve jobs. But to do that, they needed to defer equipment purchases and facility maintenance. For the 2023-2024 fiscal year, we are anticipating a moderately better position. Our budget committee has worked closely with our department heads to develop a preliminary budget that is both precise and aligned with revenue expectations while still addressing deferred equipment and succession planning. I'm pleased to report to our council and citizens that we have made substantial progress in meeting those goals. Much like our own household budgets, our city must live within its means while ensuring we have lined up expenditures to meet the needs of our citizens. We have made choices to address needs, align resources, and make our budget as precise as possible, given the uncertainties that surround revenue. We have also met with and listened to the needs of our community partners. The inclusion of those partners is a good start to involving our community in our budgeting process. While I am very gratified we are so close to balancing our 2023-2024 budget this early in the process, everyone needs to understand the big picture. We have aged and failing equipment that must be replaced to ensure our employees can safely and effectively do their work, and our citizens continue to receive high-quality services. We have facilities that need work to prevent greater expenses in future years. We have departments needing additional staff to meet the work demands we have put on them. And we have not put aside the funds that are needed to offset future expenses. The major needed budget requests that we have removed so far are 5 requested positions, needed replacement vehicles, needed building maintenance, needed reserves for future expenses, and needed replacement equipment. To date, our funding reductions have totaled almost $6 million. A budget that does not set aside enough funds for known future expenses, does not replace outdated equipment, and does not meet the building maintenance needs of our city is not a truly balanced budget, which is, I've come to learn, our perennial struggle. Cities can't succeed without strong and proactive fiscal management of budgets. We have started the process of improving our budgeting system. We are looking at developing a strategic plan with the involvement of our city citizens, employees, and community partners to ensure Rock Springs has the most transparent budget process possible that aligns to the needs and desires of our community. And in our budget process this year, we have used strategic planning and deliberate decision-making to meet the current and long-term needs of our city from within our projected revenue. In this budget, we have prioritized first staff, then equipment, then facilities, and then reserves in that order. The major budget requests that we have moved forward for funding so far are 7 additional positions providing both succession planning and increased services to citizens, replacement of multiple outdated vehicles, some that are almost 40 years old, which is a little frightening, vehicles that are almost as old as I am, replacement of multiple pieces of equipment, many that are no longer supported by manufacturers that require our shop to fabricate replacement parts, and repairs that are critical to building infrastructures. We will continue to look for opportunities to improve efficiency, and for example, adding online services, continual evaluation of current and future staffing needs, and looking at our department services to ensure we are best meeting the needs of our citizens and providing for future growth and development. In conclusion, and there is a conclusion, I wish to thank our budget committee for their work and express my appreciation for the work our council will do to reach a final budget. Most importantly, I'm deeply grateful to our city employees. Their dedication and commitment provide the citizens of Rock Springs with exceptional services under limited resources. Our preliminary budget represents the challenge our team took to deliver outstanding services to our citizens in an efficient and fiscally prudent manner. Thank you for allowing me to share that. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to say? Okay, with that, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay, motion carries. The next item of new business is a request from the Finance Department for approval of a revised procurement policy. Is there a motion?
So moved, Your Honor.
Thank you, Councilor Hickinson. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Zadi. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor.
Councilor Botello.
I don't have any problems with the revisions that are made to the policy, but I'd like to see some things going forward addressed in it at some point in time. One of the things is that I would like to know is on the large, medium, micro, and small, what percentage of our spend is in each one of those categories? One of the problems that I see with it is, let's take for example, small purchases. You could continue to go to a certain vendor over and over and over again for products. And when you could put together a blanket order contract to make sure that we are getting the best prices that we could on those commodities, rather than just pay the retail price that you would by going over and over and over. I think a blanket order process would help quite a bit. And as far as the professional services are concerned, are we going to continue with the process of evaluating by committee? And if so, how do we ensure that we don't have some of the problems that we've had in the past with that process? I think some of this stuff needs to be addressed. Just my thoughts.
Thank you, Counselor. Anyone else?
Your Honor.
Yes, Counselor Robinson.
One thing that kind of jumps out to me is the gratuities, kickbacks, and use of confidential information. I guess I don't even understand why it would be acceptable to accept some type of a gratuity less than $25. Why would that not be zero? Are there circumstances where that happens?
Your Honor, Counselor Robinson, can you please
Sure.
define that question?
It says gratuities, kickbacks, and use of confidential information. No officer, employee, board member, or agent of the city shall ask for nor accept gratuities, favors, or items for more than $25 in value from any contractor, potential contractor, or party to any subcontract, and shall not knowingly use confidential information for actual or anticipated personal gain. So I guess I don't understand why it would just be a flat out no gratuities, period. Why is there even a $25?
I would imagine that's modeled after the state, what they do with legislators. So a good example would be the first meeting that I attended. That's the county leaders meeting that the Chamber of Commerce puts on. I ordered lunch and I did not realize that Rick Lee was paying for lunch. Now it was under $25, but if it was a zero, then I would, and I've resolved that issue by just not having lunch now, right? But I think that's why that leeway is in there. Or yesterday, I was invited and privileged to toss the first pitch out for the Little League, and they gave me a Little League ball as a souvenir. And so if it was a zero, I would have to say, no, I can't accept that. And so I would think that that's why that allowance is in there, so that if you're receiving something from someone, it's not a bribe as long as it's under the $25.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Understood.
That's why,
Makes sense.
if I could, Your Honor, my understanding as well, I mean, businesses might give out hats or something to the general public, and, you want to be able to, we not accept it blankly or inadvertently accept a hat, and then all of a sudden you're breaking the law because you accepted a hat from somebody.
Or even when our community partners have brought us little goodie bags.
Yeah.
I mean, those all have a monetary value, but as long as it's under that threashold.
You trying to cut into my Reese's?
No, it's a good question. It's a good question. Yeah.
Maybe if you would have passed it down, you would share a little bit of your
You had a bag?
Split the Reese's bribe.
I have to split with my kids, so.
Oh,
Fair.
Okay.
fair enough.
Okay, very good. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries. The next item of new business is a request from the mayor's office for support of a proposed Red Desert Recreation, Conservation, and Economic Development Act letter. To provide some background for this, there is a group that is working to get all of the regional partners together to agree that we should request, the governor request the University of Wyoming come in and do a study on the feasibility of setting aside a section of land starting just north of town, going up to Farson, and then over to Atlantic City as a multi-use recreation area. If that were to go forward and we were all to agree, they would take it to our federal partners, who would then pass a law directing the BLM to convey that land under that use, which would still preserve the grazing rights there, the drilling rights that are already in existence, and also would have them convey large portions of land to the city that we could use. So at the airport for an industrial park, next to the city for housing, next to the city for a retention pond. And it has been used nationally to great effect to speed up BLM's timetable from glacial to immediate. So rather than just sending it on my own, I wanted to get the council's endorsement that that's a good thing to request, that there's a request for a study. So it's a pretty preliminary step. So with that background, is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Batolo. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Demus. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries. Our final item of new business today is a request from the Santa Fe Southwest Grill for permission to transfer their liquor license to Green River to cater to the Kayla Carmine and Josh Hemker reception at the Island Pavilion on June 10th of 2023 from 3:30 p.m. until midnight. And this will also require approval by the Green River City Council. Is there a motion?
So moved, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilor Hickerson, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hanson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay. Motion carries, which takes us to resolutions, our first being 2023-52. Mr. McBurnett, if you will, please.
A resolution accepting and approving an addendum to the 2022 to 2024 collective labor agreement between the City of Rock Springs and the Firefighters Local 1499 IFF, and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the City of Rock Springs and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the City of Rock Springs to execute said addendum on behalf of the city.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved, Your Honor.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Pedri. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Oh,
Aye.
God. Someday, resolutions and ordinances, I'm going to get right. The worst part of it is, as we were approaching these, I was thinking how, like, because I have a really nerdy sense of humor, funny would it be to be like, all right, we've got like 7 resolutions. Let's just do one vote on them. So it was in my head that we had to do a roll call once upon a time. So, Matt, if you would, please.
Councilor Pedri,
Yes.
Dottie, Hickerson,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Patolo,
No.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes. Okay, motion carries with 1 no vote. And that takes us to resolution 2023-53.
A resolution accepting and approving a contract with R&D Sweeping and Asphalt Maintenance LC in the amount of $67,041.20 and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said contract on behalf of the City of Rock Springs.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So
Your-
moved.
Your Honor,
Councilor Hanson.
I move to approve Resolution 2023 53.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, if we may have a roll call, please.
Counselor Zadi,
Abstain.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Patolo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Pedri,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes. Okay, motion carries with one abstention. Counselor Zadi. And that brings us to Resolution 2023-54.
A resolution accepting and approving a contract with Weed Management Solutions in the amount of $113,005.11 and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said contract on behalf of the city of Rock Springs.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Counselor Batolo. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Demus. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, if we may.
Counselor Hickerson,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Patolo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Pedri,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes. Okay, motion carries unanimously. That brings us to Resolution 2023-55.
A resolution accepting and approving a contract with Kilgore Companies LLC doing business as Lewis & Lewis Inc. in the amount of $1,250,644.81 and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said contract on behalf of the city of Rock Springs.
Okay, is there a motion?
Move to approve resolution 2023-55.
Thank you, Counselor Hickerson. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Robinson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, may we have a roll call, please?
Counselor Hanson,
Yes.
Tolo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Pedri,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. Which brings us to Resolution 2023-56.
A resolution accepting and approving an amendment to the NPS Main Street Facade Improvement Grant Program agreement between National Main Street Center, a subsidiary of the Trust for Historic Preservation, and the City of Rock Springs, and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said amended grant amendment on behalf of said city.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Counselor Demus. Is there a second?
Second.
Counselor Pedri. Thank you.
By a hair.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, may we have a roll call, please?
Counselor Batolo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Pedri,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes. Okay, motion carries unanimously. Which takes us to 2023-57.
A resolution accepting and approving a masonry tuck point repairs grant program agreement between the State of Wyoming Department of State Parks and Cultural Resources, State Historic Preservation Office, and the City of the Rock Springs Historic Preservation Commission in the City of Rock Springs, and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said grant on behalf of said city.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor, I'll move to approve.
Thank you, Counselor Zadi. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Robinson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, if we may, please.
Counselor Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Pedri,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Patolo,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes. Okay. Motion carries unanimously. And that takes us to Resolution 2023-58.
A resolution accepting and approving a contract with Cascade Fire Equipment, Inc. in the amount of $547,295 and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said contract on behalf of the City of Rock Springs.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Counselor Zadi?
I'd like to make a motion to approve 2023-58, and also thank you to the chief and fire department for finding this unit. It ends up saving us, is it close to $200,000? So that's a great find. Thank you.
Very good. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Pedri. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, may we have a roll call, please?
Counselor Demas,
Yes.
Pedri,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Vitolo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes. Okay, the motion carries unanimously. Bringing us to 2023-59.
A resolution accepting and approving the 2023 Wildland Fire Management Annual Operating Plan and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the city of Rock Springs to execute said plan on behalf of the city of Rock Springs.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Counselor
I make a
Demas?
motion to approve Resolution 2023-59.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please. I almost did it.
Counselor Pedri,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Vitolo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demas,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes. Motion carries, bringing us to our final resolution of the evening, 2023-60.
A resolution authorizing and directing Max Mickelson as mayor of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to accept and approve a budget revision to the budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023.
Do we have a motion?
Your Honor, I'd move to approve 2023-60.
Thank you, Councilor Zadi. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Demas. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, if you would, please.
Counselor Zadi,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Vitolo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demas,
Yes.
Pedri,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes. Okay, the motion carries unanimously, ending our resolutions for the evening and bringing us to our ordinances. We have ordinance 2023-03 up for its third reading.
An ordinance amending Article 3.2 of the ordinances of the city of Rock Springs entitled Offenses Concerning Public Morals and Decencies.
Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Your-
move to approve ordinance 2023-3.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson, which brings us to discussion.
Your Honor, I would actually like to propose an amendment to this. If you would be willing to retract your motion.
Or you could do a friendly amendment if you is amenable to it.
Yeah, or if you're to a friendly amendment on there. And just discussion too. In light of the information that we received from Chief Ernst Palmer, which I do appreciate, and knowing the issues that our community faces with alcohol, this has been a tough one for me because I personally feel that it's my individual right, as long as I'm not hurting anybody, why keep me from doing something I'm not causing harm? But when we look as a whole and what we're facing as a community, and the issues we face with alcohol, I really find it hard to support this ordinance at this time. But I'd like to propose an amendment that if it does pass, that we have a sunset provision in there, that after 2 years, the ordinance expires. That the reason for that would be we'd be forced as a council again to reconsider. If it does pass, we can look at the data and as anything has changed and what have the actions been? Have we seen an increase in public intoxication and things like that? Council would be forced to relook at that and revote on it. So my amendment would be to incorporate a 2-year sunset provision should this ordinance pass.
Are you open?
Your Honor, do we need to have a second
We
to
would
the
need a
amendment?
second, but if you guys aren't open to it, then we'll have to do something different.
Well, I think in my letter to the chief and to the rest of the council, I'm completely open to compromise, and I think that a 2-year sunset is an agreeable compromise.
Okay. Councilor
So
Patel?
I would second that amendment.
Okay, very good.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Quick question for Councilman Zadi. On your study, would you have economic impact into that as well?
On my study.
In the study you're requesting, sorry.
Oh.
Would you look at economic data too?
And that's what, I mean, what that sunset provision would do is allow council to look at everything. And what are the impacts, both negative and positive?
Okay.
And then reevaluate and pass. So I'm not saying that we just base it solely on, it's the council's discretion at that point. It's just in 2 years, that ordinance will expire, and then it has to be voted on again. And then any adjustments or amendments would need to be made at that time. So I'm not specifying that we look at specific data, but you look at it as a whole.
Thanks for the clarification.
Councilor Zadi, Mayor, councilors, may I ask for a clarification?
Yes, sir.
When you say, Councilor Zadi, that it will expire in 2 years, do you mean 2 years from the date of enactment? Or do you want to provide 2 summers for the ordinance to be in effect? In other words, it would expire at the end of the second summer after the ordinance goes into effect?
I would think that
October.
would be best, is 2 summers to collect the data from 2 full seasons that we're looking at with this ordinance.
Okay.
And that 2 years is what I'm thinking. I don't know if anybody else has, but I do think, yeah, that's what my intent would be, is a 2 full.
Okay. Then, Councilor Zadi, I would suggest that we insert language, or that you would have me insert language into the ordinance that says that the ordinance will terminate and sunset on September 30th of the year 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And that would be what you would base your motion on. So you would move to amend, to insert that language, and then have a vote on the amendment, and then have a vote on the ordinance.
So I will
Beckwith,
move.
do you mean 2025?
No, because it would
Well,
take
it'll be
effect
this
this
summer
summer.
and next summer, which is
and next summer.
2024.
Okay.
Would September 30th give us enough time to
That's when it
compute the second summer's worth of
That's when
information?
it ends in the ordinance, is September 30th, the open container.
Yeah, but would that give us time to, I guess, review it before we scrap it?
It would, because it doesn't start
Instead of
until June, so it would give us from
Right.
October
Okay.
until
Yeah, we'd
May.
have several months in the meantime to
Yeah,
collect the
7.
data. I would recommend that we come up with a certain specific set of demographics in what we're going to be looking at, whether it just be an increase in open container, contacts, as opposed to citations, because they won't be getting citations. But there is still the potential for drunken public arrests. I don't know. I don't want to task the chief with making sure that the officers note in the report that, open container was involved. So you're not going to be seeing open container citations. But are we looking at an increase in beer bottle vandalism? Are we looking at an increase in drunken publics? And looking at the statistics that the chief provided, he gave us 3 years worth. 2020, I think they had 58 drunken public arrests. Then it dropped to 34, and then 38. So it's not always, and that's only through that 3 or 4 month period. So it's not always going to be, consistent, I guess, for lack of a better term. We also understand some of the reasoning why as many arrests aren't being made. But I think we definitely need to say, Chief, this is what we're going to be looking for during this period of time.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, definitely. I mean, to let the police department know what data to.
Yeah.
But I don't want to shoehorn us into making a decision on an ordinance just based on that,
Sure.
on those, but.
So we have an amendment on the floor that needs to be voted on that would insert language causing the ordinance to sunset on September 30th of 2024. Can we have all those in favor?
I think we need a second.
No, he had a second,
Do we
Robinson.
have a second? Okay, all right,
Yeah.
so I'm sorry, Council.
So do we need to roll call that one, or can we just vote on it?
Amendment. Yes, I would do a roll call
Okay.
on the amendment, yes.
Let's see. Counselor Hickerson,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Patolo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Vidri,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes. Okay. So now that we have an amended motion on the floor, is there further discussion? Okay. For my part, I think there's three issues I have. One, I think everybody knows I'm a big fan of going slow to go fast. And I think in this case, we've gone fast before we went slow. I think there are a lot of downstream impacts that we have maybe not fully considered, including the economic impact on our restaurants. Alcohol sales are a big driver of restaurant profits. And I think we are opening a door to let people bring and have their own alcohol. I think it would be very difficult for the police to monitor whether a beer came from a truck or from a business. And then the third thing, and the thing that is most informing for my position on this, is I always tell people I don't go to my attorney for mechanical advice, and I don't go to my mechanic for legal advice. And in this case, our police chief and legal counsel have provided us with some fairly serious concerns about the potential impacts of this. And given that there exists a mechanism for groups to get special permissions that allow us to plan for and police activities with open containers, that is a fairly low bar in terms of the difficulty in achieving it. I'm not personally in favor of this at this time. Additionally, the only public feedback that I've received has been from groups speaking out against it and saying that with our issues with alcohol in Rock Springs and Sweetwater County, increasing the ease of access would be a step in the wrong direction. So that's all I have. Anyone else?
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
So I did receive some positive feedback, and of course, Mr. Banks isn't here tonight, but there is some belief that this could stimulate local economies. Now, one thing I guess maybe we need to take a look at, and I don't know if it kind of falls in this, but let's say I go to a local establishment and purchase a beer in a to-go cup. Is this ordinance going to prohibit me from taking that open container out onto the street now?
No.
So I don't know that it would necessarily impact. It may actually benefit, local establishments being able to sell something in an open container and have them leave. One of my concerns, I don't like broken bottles any more than anybody else does. Whether I'm running or walking my dog or going for a bike ride, they're kind of inconvenient. I would also be completely okay with limiting, the use of glass in these. I don't know if that's something that we would need to do for another amendment or whatnot, but I share those concerns as far as increased damage. But typically, we kind of talked about this as far as the responsible parties go. The people who are going to drink responsibly are not going to be throwing a bottle through a wall. You could look at the same thing with gun ownership. The responsible gun owners are not going out and doing bad stuff with guns. It's the ones that do that are causing issues. So I'm hoping that this will actually stimulate some of the downtown businesses.
Thank you, Counselor. Anyone else?
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
So I have talked to a couple other municipalities throughout the state, and cities like Casper and Cheyenne, for their downtown districts, they require either a wristband purchased at a downtown vendor, or a cup that demarcates that they did purchase that beverage at one of the downtown stores. And I know Cheyenne's enjoyed theirs so much they're making it full-time year-round for their downtown district. Because I don't have all the data yet, but they say their economic improvement has outweighed what little bit of increase in alcohol-related crime they've seen.
Thank you, Counselor. Anyone else?
Well, I just want to echo what you said, Max. I'm concerned with the downstream effects and the other problems that will occur. I'm concerned that it will circumvent some of the establishments where people are bringing their own beverages downtown and putting themselves in a position where they've had a few drinks wherever they were prior. Now they come downtown, they're able to walk freely and continue to drink. how are they going to get home? So we do have some long-term effects, but we also have some immediate things that I feel would need attention throughout that. So, I believe that, there's potentially some positive effects that we could see from this, but right now my concern is that we're going to see more negative versus positive outcome from it.
Okay, thank you, Counselor. Looks pretty quiet up here, so if we could please proceed with a roll call.
Counselor Hanson,
No.
Did we have a motion to approve the ordinance? We approved the amendment, but we didn't move to approve the ordinance.
We did. We had an original motion from Counselor Botello, seconded by Robinson, and then amended by Zadi and seconded by Robinson.
So the last roll call was to do the amendment to the ordinance, and this is for the approval of the ordinance?
as
Correct.
amended. Yes, sir.
Okay. No.
Counselor Batolo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Pedri,
No.
Zadi,
No.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
No.
Tied. It's a tie.
Looks like, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
It's a tie.
How did Batolo vote?
He voted
How did
yes.
he voted yes? Okay, all right.
So I think if it's a tie, it wins.
Looks like a tie. It fails.
It passes.
There's a tie, it fails.
Oh, it fails.
Thank you. Okay. Well, that's very productive and good discussion. I would like to remind everybody that failure now does not mean failure forever. I think with some further thought and as we had the discussion, it was clear there were some things that we could consider to maybe do something like this in a way that is not quite as Wild Westy. Because I do think you're correct that there could be some real benefits to come along with the detractions. I declare this meeting